Hi everyone, here is how to do a warm or cool color name design. So we are thinking about warm versus cool colors and lines, okay? And we are basically going to be making a bunch of repeated lines using either warm or cool colors surrounding our name. So you should have already watched the video, how to make bubble letters, and done some practice. Now it's time to put that on your paper. So first, you need to find the center of your paper, which is about here. And I usually just draw a small dot. You don't have to do that, but that kind of helps my eyes know, how can I spread out my letters? Then you are going to lightly draw your name spread out. So we draw this lightly because we erase the actual letters that we draw. So I am just going to write the word name. I want you to actually write your name or nickname, okay, about this size. Then we trace around the letters to make our bubble letters. Trace around. Now remember, with words like name, we have that inside, letters like A, not words like name, but like A and O, B. So I trace around all of my letters. Then I'm going to erase the line on the inside, or the original or first letters that we drew. Then I have my bubble letters. So now you are going to trace those bubble letters using your black marker. So my black marker is running out. It doesn't really work anymore, and I want the example to look nice. So I'm going to use a Sharpie. Your black marker should work great though. Since we're at the beginning of the year, you should have enough ink, okay? So you don't need Sharpie, I'm just doing that for the example. So I'm going to trace right on top of my pencil lines for my bubble letters. It's okay if it gets a little bit off, we can always erase on top of our marker too. I just always think it's a good idea to let it dry for a couple minutes before we erase on top. Sometimes marker can smear. Perfect. So I traced my name. Now you have to make a choice. You need to choose between either warm colors or cool colors. Okay, so make that choice. You can only choose one. Then your class has a pack of Sharpies that you guys can use and borrow, okay? So I will be getting these back. This is not yours to keep, but we're doing that so we can have one more color in our rotation to make patterns, okay? So I'm choosing the warm colors. So in your marker pack, you will have a red, an orange, and a yellow. Some marker packs also have a pink and this color called raspberry. So if you have either of those, you can also use those colors. Okay, other marker packs, or not other marker packs, for the cool colors, we have purple, green, and blue, which I don't have my other blue marker, so I'm just using this one. Some marker packs also have turquoise and this other purple called royal purple. And also this green marker called iguana green, okay? So you should have at least these three colors. If you have these three, you could also use those. So I'm choosing the warm colors. And then my teacher is going to give each student a highlighter in the color group that you choose, okay? So I got an orange because I'm doing the warm colors. So now I can still see some pencil lines, so I'm just going to erase those now because my marker had a minute to dry. I think it would be easier to erase that now rather than later. So I'm going to do that, okay? Then I'm going to choose a color to start outlining my name. Now before I do that, I just want to show you how the marker works. So I know you know how markers work, but sometimes we don't understand how much they're really capable of, okay? So I want us to look at the tip. Do you see how it's a triangle? So it's made that way for a reason.
if we look at the very, very teeny tip, which is kind of hard to see, you can see that's a really, really small area. Okay, but if we look at how big the side is, that's a big area. So if we draw using just the tip, or we kind of like go vertical like this, we get a really thin line. Now, if we turn the marker on its side, so I'm holding it more at an angle, and like the side of that triangle, if we think about the tip as a triangle, the side is on the paper, I get a really thick line. Now, this project will take a really long time if all of your lines are really thin. So I want you guys to try to go for that thick line, okay? So that you can fill up your whole name design. Okay, so I'm doing the warm colors. So I'm going to pick one color to start with, and I'm going to start tracing on the outside of my name. So I am going to start with raspberry. And I'm going to carefully try to trace around the outside of my name. Now, I suggest that your first color you choose is one of the darker ones, because the black marker might smear a little bit, okay? So the reason mine is not is because I used permanent marker, but the black might smear a little bit, which is okay, but I would use a darker marker so that it kind of blends nicer. So I traced around my name. It's my first step. Now I'm going to choose another color and then trace on the outside of that. So notice how there's no white space in between these two colors, okay? They might even overlap a little bit. But if we're using colors in the same color group of warm and cool, they actually might look nice that way, okay? Because those colors work well together. And then I just keep choosing new colors in my color group, of course, and I trace around the line I just drew. And I keep doing this until my entire paper is filled off. So you can go all the way off of the page and make this go out like rings, right? So take your time with these. This video is going to be in fast forward, and I'm working pretty fast just so that you have more time to work. But I want you guys to really focus and concentrate because it's kind of tricky to draw these lines. But it's great practice because we'll draw the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, then I also have this orange in my color group. And remember, the highlighters are property of the school, so make sure that we're taking care of them, using them nicely, putting the caps back on. But we also should be mindful of treating our own materials kindly. Okay, so that's the first round of my pattern. Then I'm going to start again because I started with this raspberry color. And keep tracing around your name, making rings of either warm or cool colors until you've filled your entire paper. So now see how like up here, it's like, oh, I'm running out of space. I would just fill this whole top part with pink. And then now I can just keep going on the sides, okay? And like down here, I would just kind of like start up here, right? Trace down. And then like stop, if that makes sense. So see, I'm going all the way off of my paper. And that's why we have these papers underneath our table so that we can go off the edge all the way without getting marker all over our table.
But see, here's where it's helpful to have those thick lines, okay? Otherwise, it will take a really long time. They don't all have to be thick. You can kind of have them vary in size, but I want you to fill your entire paper. Notice how I'm putting my caps on my markers when I'm not using them so that they don't dry out.
When you are all done, you can then decide to fill your name with the opposite color group. So I did the warm colors. I could choose a cool color to fill my name with, or you could also do a warm color, or you could leave it blank, or you could fill it in with black. That is your choice. So I think this would look nice to have some contrast, which means difference. So I am going to fill in my name with blue. Or maybe turquoise. I think turquoise would be good. But you guys can choose whatever color you want for your bubble letters. But that's the only time that you can choose a color that is not in your either warm or cool color group. Because I want to make sure that you know the difference between warm and cool colors. So this is going to be your way of showing me that. When you are done, please take a nice, clear, bright picture of your name tag and upload it to Seesaw. Thanks so much for trying this, guys. I hope you have fun.